people who. All right. Okay. There we go. We are literally on YouTube recording this shit. Fix this sound. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So we're good. All right, let's get into this thing. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to fuck you up with it, but yeah,
No.
my manners, my family. All right, let's go here. Hey, what's going on, folks? Welcome to another episode. That's right, I'm old school. I call it an episode of the highlights. Joining me as always, my man, Green Bay Super Bowl champion, and hey, happens to be my cousin, Cullen Jenkins. Cuz, what's happening, man?
Hey, what's up, cuz? Nice to be back again this week.
Oh man, come on! It's been a crazy week. Super Bowl's going on. Basketball is in full swing. You can't buy stock markets today. What the hell is going out in the sports world? But that's okay. We're going to talk about it. And while we kick this thing off, man, let's go ahead and get involved with the chat room. The chat room. All right, man. We know we got some big stuff to talk about as far as the Super Bowl is concerned, but man, your guy, Mr. Aaron Rodgers, he did not like the end of the game, and now I think Aaron's being Aaron, and he's giving some of those cryptic talks, talking about he does not know what his future leads. Man, come on, he's going back to the Packers.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be back with the Packers. Green Bay won't allow that. They still have him under contract. I think the fan base would turn on the team if they got rid of Aaron. But what is interesting, I can definitely understand Aaron's frustration for the simple fact of the 2020 football season for Green Bay started off with them not having or them showing not having faith in Aaron by drafting a quarterback with the first pick. And then, unfortunately, it ended with them not showing faith in Aaron Rodgers on that fourth down call.
Yeah, no, that was like the craziest thing. Well, first of all, I got to give some of the blame to Aaron. He had that play before that. He could have run the ball in. He
Yeah,
decided not to run and wanted to do it with his arm. And we've seen that play before, the opposite. And then he didn't run in them. Were you confused by that?
I was, because when I saw him scramble out to the right, he stepped up in that pocket. The offensive line did a great job opening that up for him. And I just knew I saw the green grass in front of him, and I thought he was going to be doing the Lambeau leap.
Yeah, I don't. You know what? Obviously, you can't get in anybody's head. And I don't know if you spoke to him or not, but that was crazy. And then the play after that. I mean, that goes back to last week in the AFC Championship and the NFC Championship where they didn't go for it and they kicked a field goal. I think this one's even crazier because you have all-world Aaron Rodgers back that, and you decide to go for it with a field goal with 2 minutes left. And would you have been surprised had you been on the team?
Yeah, I would have. I would have been very surprised. And I think I saw a post online. I can't remember who posted it, but it was the best sum up of what happened. And in the post, it said, so instead of going for two perfect plays, needing two plays to work in your favor, you take the option of needing 10 or 12 plays to go in your favor to win it, because all they needed was a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. You just need two things to go right, in that fourth down play. And yeah, they opted to kick a field goal and then hope that the defense would get a stop and then hope that they would be able to go back down and score a touchdown again, which I didn't like the odds of that call.
Well, here's my thing, man. Every time hear about that 2-point play, I always go, just because I know the mathematics on something like that. When you go for a 2-point play early in the game, are you on the sideline thinking, yeah, yeah, yeah? Or do you actually believe that, all right, coach, I think we should probably hold this one back in the pocket until we need it?
Yeah, it's a catch-22 because at times you want to see the coach show a little aggressiveness. And, sometimes plays like that can just be, showing that you have confidence in your offense. But also you have to keep your kicker in rhythm. You don't want your kicker to feel like, you don't have confidence in him and going for the extra point. So, like I said, it's a catch-22 because in showing faith in one area of the team, you may take away from the confidence of another, crucial player.
Talking about taking away confidence, we're going to switch up here. We're going to go to my favorite team, our hometown favorite, those Detroit Lions, man. And Matthew Stafford, he has said, "I am done with this shit. Send me to Alaska. I'll play for the Eskimos. Send me to England. I'll play for the Queens Knights. I just don't want to play for the motherfucking Lions anymore." And he has to be traded. I think they should have done this a long time ago. I love Matthew. I've had many. I've talked to a couple guys, the announcers on the Lions, probably about 7 years ago, and they convinced me that there's no other better option than Matthew Stafford. And now here we are, Lions looking to rebuild. Are you surprised that it's happening, or that it actually even took this long?
I kind of am, but one of the things with Stafford, to me, Stafford is kind of like a Phillip Rivers type of player, where they've been good, solid players for most of their career, but they just haven't been able to overcome, and make it past that next step, that last hurdle of getting in the playoffs or getting playoff wins. Right. So, it's tough, but as far as him, being done with Detroit, just add him to the long list of players who can't handle it anymore, with the Lions. And it's sad, it's shameful, being here in Michigan, and that being a hometown team that you grew up rooting for. It's just sad to see them never be able to pull it. I mean, for goodness sakes, the Cleveland Browns have even pulled it together. The Cleveland Browns, Buffalo made it to the NFC Championship game after their, couple decades of, being really bad. Even Miami Dolphins are showing some signs of improvement, doing things like, why is it that the Lions can never get their stuff together?
No, you tell me. I mean, what is the conversation that you guys have behind the scenes? Because every time you guys came to town, and I'm talking about the Green Bay Packers, I know, and you can't tell me otherwise, that you went, "Woo, I needed a vacation. I'm glad we play in the Lions." It's just,
yeah. I mean, I kind of may support Detroit a little bit, just being from here, growing up, watching them, being a fan. But also because the Lions helped my career out a lot, because every time we used to have to play them twice a year, and I always look forward to those games. I had my only career interception against the Lions. I had my only 3-sack game in my career. Meaning the Lions helped make me who I am.
They get a Christmas card every year, huh?
Them one every year.
Right? And a bottle of whiskey. Be like, "Damn, Matt, I'm sorry you're leaving, man. I'm really sad. And so I'm going to send you this bottle in recognition of what you meant to me." Who'd you get the interceptions on? Was it Matt Stafford?
Honestly, I can't remember.
Oh, see, that's even worse. You don't even remember. It's just a face. It was just a face in a Lions outfit. Damn, that's just sad. But
they quarterback so many times, I mean, from Joey Arrington to Kitna.
Oh my God, I forgot about Kitna.
Yeah.
Wow, that old ass man was back there playing for the Lions. Actually, he was playing pretty decent when he was back there. As much trash. He got him a job in Dallas. Yeah, I remember that. Man, that is crazy. I look at that, and when I was working for the Lions, I would just go every Monday morning during the football season. I would wake up and go, "Oh my God, I got to go out there and I have to tell people they want to be a part of this." And thank God for passion, because football is some of the craziest, passionate stuff I've ever seen in my life. That regardless of what your team is, you would get yourself up, put on your gear. And wait, do I have on a Lion shirt? Oh Lord, hold on. Okay, I'm a sucker. They got me. I didn't even. I just remembered I had it on. But that's how they get you, man. I love these guys to death, and no, it ain't all jokes aside. They are a joke. The first week that I started working for the Lions, man, Barry Sanders quit. That is my legacy to the Detroit Lions. And I went, wait, what? Like Herman Moore, I got to sell the excitement of Herman Moore. What the hell? No offense to Herman, but his days had been passed, But I don't know where he's going to land. It's going to be funny. People are saying maybe the Patriots, that he could be a fit for those guys. I see it either one way. He's either he's going to go to the Patriots, he's going to go to Miami, and write this one down. He's going to come to the Raiders. You heard it here first, man. You heard it here first. They tired of Derek Carr. So, I think Joey probably has 4 more years left. Not Joey, but Matt.
Yeah, I could see Matt. I see a couple places that could be possible fits, especially with a trade. Um, the Rams being one.
I forgot about them. Damn.
Goff, possibly an exchange between Goff and Stafford, and also in Houston now. With Watt coming out and requesting a trade, I could possibly see a swap there, maybe between.
Yeah. Okay.
Because in all three of the teams are in the same position where I think that they need a young quarterback to build for the future. But in that meantime, I think that they need somebody, a veteran that maybe could last a year or two, while that young player develops or they find that young player.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly the same system that I was going with. I totally forgot about Texas, but man, as a football player, would he want to even go back down there? I mean, because he's from that area. Well, you know what? That actually might make some sense. Him going back down Texas, being home, because he's from those parts, and seeing what he can do down there. Because it's hell, it can't be any worse than the Lions. He has to imagine that was so. Yeah, no, I see it. And don't know what you were doing last night, man. It was probably one of the best games that I've seen the Lakers be a part of that they lost. But the Philadelphia Sixers, they went ahead. They lost they won the game in the last minute. But God, I'm trying to call them the Rams. But the Lakers were able to come back, man. They were down by at least 10 points with 5 minutes left. And they were coming back. They're looking good. Doc Rivers has these guys playing. And my question to you, and then I'm posing to everybody else, is this the final step to the process?
Are you talking about with the Sixers?
Yeah, with the Sixers. Yeah, the Lakers, they good.
Well, I think it is. I think Doc Rivers being there is definitely going to help the team. I think, just his experience that he brings in there and with the talent that they have there, because, they should be competing a lot better than they have been. And hopefully, he can get them to the next level, and get all that potential out of those players.
Yeah, what I'm seeing, and it's probably been a long time coming, is Embiid is actually playing like a big fella. He's taking the people down low. Looks like Shaq finally got in his head, and he should, dude. That's 7 feet tall. Ain't no damn way you should be shooting 3-pointers. But he's taking it. He's handling his business. They're looking good. Simmons isn't shooting as much, but he's as aggressive as I've seen him as well. And man, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I don't know if it's the last step in the process because it's one game, and they did not have the defense they needed at the end. They just happened to have the last shot. And no, I'm liking what they're going to do, man. This should be an exciting second half of the season. I see them probably coming up on top. Boston's kind of falling off, but I'm liking what these guys are doing, man. What we're going to do next, we're going to go ahead and take our first commercial break. And when we come back, man, we got a game coming up in 2 weeks. It's I don't know, something you played in called the Super Bowl. Hey, when we come back, it's the highlights. All right. Yeah, good segment, especially, it's basketball season. So, all right, we're going to go in here, talk about, talk about the Super Bowl. Shoot, talk about Brady. How many times did you play against Brady?
I'm not sure.
Oh, so that many times?
Yeah, it was a few times. I know one of the times that I played against him, it was or that we played against them, I was hurt, so
okay.
I didn't travel with the team that year. But yeah, I don't know. I know we used to play against them a lot in the preseason, when I was with the Giants and the Eagles.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting about those ends of it. All right, let's roll back into it. All right, and we're back. Man, you saw those numbers out there. If Brady isn't the greatest, people are just out there fluffing those numbers, man. He's made it to his 11th Super Bowl. Mahomes is in his second one. It should be a great game, but the question out here, man, Brady, are you surprised that he actually was able to pull it off going to the other team and he's not just a system quarterback?
I'm not surprised at all. Watching him play for the 2021 years that he's been playing, and having the chance to play against him and see him in person play and just see what he can do, I'm not surprised at all. And I think it shows more of the balance and the importance when he was with the Patriots. Who was more important between him and Belichick. So we're getting to see it now because he's gone down there to Tampa and he's helped them do something that they haven't been able to do in a while, and that's make it back to the Super Bowl again. So I never doubted him.
Where were you on that fence with the Brady, Belichick, who's who? Were you that 50-50 guy, or did you just go, yeah, right, let you see when someone else gets in there how it rolls?
Well, I always felt like it was more Brady. You can have the greatest coaches in the world, but at the end of the day, it comes down to the players performing on the field. And, there is a relationship. I'm not saying that it's all players because coaches do play a big part in that. But a coach can tell a team the perfect thing to do, but if you don't have the players that can execute it, it doesn't matter. And I think we're seeing that, with Belichick's mind, he had a quarterback that could go out and execute his plans to perfection. And now that quarterback's not there anymore.
I think those philosophers called outcasts said it best. You can pack a pretty picnic, but you cannot predict the weather. And that is the truth. I know you told me about that with some quarterbacks. You can literally see the fear in their eyes of not knowing, like, oh Lord, this shit is getting ready to happen. And I know 4 plays. I know 4 plays out the book. And one guy that we don't have to worry about knowing any of those damn plays is on the other side of the football with Kansas City. That's one Pat, don't call me Pat Mahomes. Man, that kid, he is something beyond special. And being at this platform, he may own this thing just like Brady did for the next couple years. But going against these guys, going against Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I actually think it's going to be I'm going to say a good fight, but a good game. And I don't think they're going to be gun shy. But I think Patrick Mahomes may finally have one of those moments where he can get just kind of caught in a moment with Brady. What do you think?
Yeah, it can be. It's it reminds me a lot about I'm a big golf fan. I like to watch golf as well. But sometimes when you listen to what some of the professional golfers would say about just the atmosphere of being in the same tournament or in the same course as Tiger Woods, just how that would affect, their plan, or especially, when they're grouped with him, how it affects, their mind and their play. So I think, a little of that may come into play with this. I think the one thing that Mahomes does have that's going to benefit him is the fact that, he went last year and they won last year. So he's not going to be, starstruck from the atmosphere of the Super Bowl environment or feel like a rookie in there. But he will have to look across that sideline and see, number 12, who, majority of the time that he's been in this position in the Super Bowl, which has been a lot, has been able to find ways to pull it out. So I think it's going to come down to defenses in this game. Whichever defense steps up and makes the most plays is going to win.
Yeah, no, the defenses. And where I get confused on all this stuff, especially when it comes to Brady and his greatness. Why are people still talking about he needs to do this one more thing? He needs to do. What else does Brady need to do? Does he need to babysit your children? I mean, this man is 43 years old in another Super Bowl. I think he could lose by 45 and he's the greatest in my eyes.
Yeah, he's done stuff. He's done things that have never been done before in the league, and to win as many Super Bowls as he had, and I think what just most kind of surprises people is how he, came from the 6th round draft pick. I think we spoke in this last week where we talked about what he looked like.
British body. That's right.
The draft, and you just, looking at that picture, and that person, there's no way that anybody expected for him to, turn into what he is today. And the effect that he's just had on a complete game of football, period.
No, it is. I mean, you just look at that, and there was well, I take it back because we don't know what obviously he was a winner. We just didn't know what he wanted to do to win. But that chip that you always talk about, I think he may have had the biggest chip ever in sports on his shoulder. and he still has it to this day. I mean, what is my Jay-Z said? Do it like the first one, make a hit like the first one, whenever that one. He plays every game like it's his first game, and he doesn't take it from anybody. He doesn't want to see any excuses out there. And I don't get mad when I see him yelling at people, because shit, he's done it enough times. He knows what I'm doing, and obviously, if he saw something that I didn't do right, I believe that hell, he's probably more correct than I am, man. Is that something that you would have taken offense to, or do you just go, man, shit, this is Tom Brady?
No, you don't take offense to it. I mean, as long as it's done in a competitive way and not done in a disrespectful way, you definitely embrace it. Because if you look at a lot of the great players, or should I say, the great players that were leaders on their team, you see that in them. You see them, getting on their teammates, trying to lead, and it's not a personal thing. It's just, you see it with LeBron James,
Yeah.
with Aaron Rodgers at times, you see it with, a lot of these great players where, they're willing to grab their teammate, pull them aside and tell them, okay, and get stern with them and let them know if they're messing up, or if they need to do, something different or better. And I think that that's important. It's an important role. But it's the relationship that you have to build with your teammates before that, ahead of time, that'll allow you to do that. So the fact that he can do that with his teammates, to
Yeah.
me, it shows that he's built a relationship with these guys ahead of time, to where they don't feel like it's a personal or disrespectful attack on them when he does it.
So you went from playing with Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, then you go to Philadelphia, and your level of quarterback, I got to call a spade, dropped off. How was it when you went to Philly, knowing what you knew and going, this was your first time outside of Green Bay? What was your perception?
I don't think, those are my old
Come
teams.
on.
I wouldn't say the level of quarterback dropped. What
Ah,
I would
what's
say,
in that cup?
what I would say is that their level of play at that point in their career had went down, because
Oh,
obviously Michael Vick was, one of the greats
yes, he was.
in his prime. Eli, he was doing, he's done great things, won 2 Super Bowls. Even, Vince Young being a backup quarterback there, at a time, he was, looked at as being a very promising top quarterback in the league. And, you look at that, and so it did fall off. it, and unfortunately, I never went back to the playoffs again, because of, and I won't just say it's the quarterbacks, but, it was the whole team. It was all of us involved. But yeah, the quarterback position is definitely, the most important. And when you have two greats like Aaron and Britt, it you had no choice but to step your game up to try to, fill your role on the team.
You know what? You just named four quarterbacks, like you said, that are iconic in themselves. Obviously Favre and Aaron, just without saying. Michael Vick, because of what he was able to do, stepping that running game up, and then even Vince. He did not become, and he's not the first person to go from college to the pros whose game didn't translate to the pros, which is always one of those great mysteries to me. But it happened. Uh, they were all competitive. Would you say that they all came in there with that same feeling that, hey guys, we're going to do it? No one, in anyone that you play with, always had that eye of the tiger, right?
Right. It was never a team that I was on where you didn't have high aspirations, going into the season. When you're in training camp and you're looking around at your teammates, and you're out there battling, and you look at it and you've got hope, you're
Yeah.
confident. And unfortunately, as the season goes, and if things aren't quite working out, you can start to lose that. Now the big difference is, depending on the team and what they're used to, that kind of let then, or you get to see how fast that level of confidence can come down. Because I'll never forget being in Green Bay, and we started off the season 1-4.
That's what I was. Yeah.
And they called players only meetings. We met, we talked about it, and the level of competition and expectation was so high that there wasn't any doubt in any person's mind that we were going to turn things around, and we did, and we ended up making the playoffs that year.
Now, the year you guys won the Super Bowl, you were what's the term? Playoff team,
Wild card.
wild card. Yeah, right.
Yeah, we were the sixth seed, so we were the bottom seed. We were the last team to get a spot in the playoffs that year, and yeah, it was rough at the end of the season. You know, we had our work cut out for us. We needed a little help down the final stretch, and fortunately for us, everything worked out.
Now, if memory serves me right, that the year was it the year before that you guys lost to Arizona, or was the year afterwards after you won?
The year before.
The year before. So
Yeah.
so you guys had motivation coming into the next year because I was at the game before that. You guys played Arizona, you won, and then you came back again, and didn't have the luck that you guys went. So that was one of those chips. You're like, all right, damn it, we need to step this shit up.
Yeah, it definitely was, and especially on defense because that Arizona game was a shootout. It was back and
Yeah.
forth. Offenses were putting up big numbers, and defensively we couldn't get the stop we needed, to help us get that win. And we unfortunately had offense on the field, working too hard, trying to do too much. Because I believe we may have scored 45 points in that game or something.
Yeah, something to that.
And still lost.
Yeah, you guys were putting it up there, man. I was like, holy crap, this is not the game I saw last week. Because you guys owned them the week before that. It was all funds and then it looked, in my mind, I just knew you guys were going to win. And then that shit to go south was just crazy. Now, here's something. You guys played in one of the rare Super Bowls. When I say rare Super Bowls, we had two great quarterbacks. It was Aaron Rodgers against Big Ben, man. When you were in that game, how long did it take you to finally get out of the awe of being in the Super Bowl?
It was over pretty fast. You go out there and you see all the lights. You have to sit a while and wait because they have to sing, 100 different songs and put out performances before the game. So after you warm up, you literally sit for like 30, 40 minutes before the game even starts, just waiting around. But, I think for us, we knew that just getting there wasn't going to be enough. We had a good momentum going, throughout the playoffs, being the sixth seed and being an underdog every game. And we couldn't complete that Cinderella story without that win. So I don't think anyone on our team was just happy to be there and just in awe because we made the Super Bowl. We definitely, had a lot more motivation in our minds when we went into the game to get the win.
No, that's it. And before we get out of this segment, a question. Something that I read is that, and do you believe that, God, I forgot my notes there. You see how prepared I am. I'll just make sure. Peyton Manning says that the two giant losses against Tom Brady are still wearing on him. Do you think that's true? Do you think Brady is that petty that he just keeps those seeds back there?
Yeah, I think it does. I think it probably, keeps him motivated. What did Michael Jordan say? He used to tell himself things or make up things that
he'll make up stuff every game.
I can see Brady doing that. I can see him making up things to keep this chip on his shoulder. But this year, I think the New England situation and how it turned out is enough chip on the shoulder of him to keep him motivated.
No, that's it, man. No, it should be a great game. And obviously, we got some more to talk about when we come back next week. But we're going to take our next break. And when we come back, man, we're going to talk a little NBA, a little college basketball. It's the highlights. Good segment. I think I'm waking up. Yeah. I think I'm waking up. A little yogurt and a protein shake. See what it do for you. All right. Then, like I said, learning this graphic stuff. I'm laughing at myself going, oh, yeah, that's why I always have a graphic guy. That's why I always, and Jeremy went ahead and got him a part-time job, a project. So he didn't have time to do this shit. I was like, I can do this myself. Yeah. Watch what you asked for. All right. Let's go in here and talk some NBA. Welcome back to Highlights MP. Cullen Jenkins, the Super Bowl champion. man, basketball's in full steam. The schedules are kind of crazy right now. They don't even have the second half of the schedule yet. But this first half has been anything but amazing to me. The Utah Jazz, that's right, folks, the Utah Jazz, the coronavirus kids, they are winning. They are kicking butt. They are actually in first right now in the NBA. And I got to say, I didn't see it coming, especially with the discord between Donovan Mitchell and Gobert, man. They're looking good on them streets.
Yeah, they're having a great start to this year so far, and hopefully they can keep it up because if you're old enough to know basketball, one thing you know about the Utah Jazz is that even when they have good teams, they always falter at some point.
That's it. That is true, man. They have been the bridesmaids so many years. And I used to be pulling for them back in the Michael Jordan, Karl Malone decade, man. But yeah, no, it looks like they finally have some stuff together. The team is meshed. Having Michael out there as their point guard. It looks like it's finally coming together. I like where they're going. I don't know how long they can sustain this because the Lakers, like I said, man, they're straight fire right now. But they have some craziness going on in DC, man. Bradley Beal is out there killing it. He's averaging over 30 points a game. And they just picked up Westbrook out there.
Yeah.
But the team is still 3-11, man. It's one of those things you talked about. They're probably having those players meetings. I mean, do you think it's time for them to let Bill take it and go to another direction?
Well, they've got to figure out, what's at the root of the problem, and they've got too much talent. They got Westbrook now, which is going to create another dynamic.
He needs the ball. He needs the ball in his hand.
And we all know Westbrook. Westbrook is one of the players, though. There's a lot of issues that I can see with Russell Westbrook, but you'll never question his effort.
Right.
If there's one player that I've ever said, maybe he doesn't need to go 110% every play, slow down, let the game come to you, because he is one fiery competitor. And, when he gets, the term, when he gets blood in his eyes, it's no stopping him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that's true. And well, you know what? Because what he lacks in skill set, and when I say that, I'm not saying it mildly, like because he's top whatever in the NBA. But if it comes down to a last minute shot, is Russell Westbrook really the person you want to shoot the jump shot? Probably not. But in that same breath, like you said, he's getting double digit rebounds. He doesn't hog the ball, but it's something about his game to me that doesn't translate to number one or number two. It's almost like he needs to be the glue guy. If he was able to be that glue guy and then have maybe a number, a LeBron or an Anthony Davis, and then you have Westbrook, that might be the chemistry that he needs versus him being one or two. Because when you put him in, when I see them putting him in the game and it's just he and the rest of the guys, it doesn't look the same to me. I don't think that he's that sustainable guy when you're out there. That he's just a B player. And am I saying that correctly? I'm not trying to put him down.
No, I think you're saying it perfect. If I was a coach on the team, in the final, seconds of the game, if we needed a game-winning shot, I don't think Russell would be my first option. Just his role, he definitely demands attention because he's a great athlete. He's a great player. But I think he needs to start learning to use that more to his advantage to create other opportunities for other people. Now, he does do that. Heck, he's averaged triple doubles, for an entire season, which means that he does share the ball. But, I think he could maybe tone it down and focus more and create more opportunities. And I think in doing that, it will help bring the teams together more as a team and it not just be Russell Westbrook and the rest of the team.
Yeah, no, I agree with that one. He, because I think he's 30 years old, man. The time goes by fast. It really does go by fast. And to think that when he started his career, it was Russell Westbrook, KD, and James Harden. And obviously the staff and James Harden wanted to stay there. They just thought that they could fill in whatever he was doing, and then for James to go somewhere else is just amazing in itself. But no, I agree with you, man. I don't know what they're going to have to do. They are going to have to figure out something else, but I don't know what that thing's going to be. But I know who has figured something else, and it's just like with the Green Bay Packers got Aaron Rodgers after Brett Favre. The damn Golden State Warriors have James Wiseman. This kid's out here looking ridiculous. Last night he scored 25 in the win, and I don't think they're gonna lose a step, man. You know, Steph is looking like Steph. Draymond's come behind the curtains. He find out he can play more. He doesn't have to be put on Front Street with that Scottie Pippen role. And and we all know that Clay's coming back, man. I think they're poised for another championship.
If Clay comes back and he's anything close to his former self, they're going to be a problem. And the unique thing with Golden State for me is that Steve Kerr is such a humble and quiet coach, but at some point, if they can continue, getting better like they are and continue to go out there and being a dominant force in the league. He deserves a lot more credit, I think, than people give him because, he is able to bring the teams together, I don't know what he does when teaching them. I would honestly like to know what type of shooting drills they do in practice because maybe I could work on my jump shot. But I mean, the stuff that they do, it's incredible, and to see them to be able to bounce back from, the slumps they've had, especially due to injuries, and still start to build a team that's almost in the exact same, mold as when they won the first championship. Smaller team, run up and down the court fast, create open shots for each other, and it seems like they're starting to build that same, model for the team again, but just with some different players.
Yeah, no, they really does, and it's so interesting because I know I'm not the only person who wrote them off, and when I say wrote them off, in the sense that KD's gone, I never gave Draymond the respect probably that he needed, and not that I thought that Steph, because I was actually looking at my Steph stats last night, that the kid came out of college a lot higher ranked than I thought he was. I thought he was just a miracle find, but I didn't know he led the country in 3-point shooting that year. His junior year, and that he was All-American. He was the number 7 pick. But here's this scrawny kid. I never saw him doing what he's been able to do. I know no one did, but to be able to change the NBA the way he has, and it kind of goes back to what we were speaking on the other segment. I think they have that chip on their shoulder. And that proverbial chip, man, that could be a son of a bitch because he's out there slaughtering people like they did something to him.
I know Draymond Green isn't your favorite player, but if we go back to what we were talking about earlier, we're talking about Brady or, talking about LeBron and Rodgers as, vocal leaders that will get on players, Golden State has a unique superstar because Steph Curry is not that same type of a person that, you're going to see him yelling at his teammates, telling people where they need to be or what they do. And so I think that's where Draymond has a more important role in the team because he feels that, for them. He's the player that, will get on his teammates, let them know where they're supposed to be, demand better, get the energy going. And so I think that, with the two of them gelling like they are, it's gonna be some good times to come for them.
No, it really will be. These guys look they look great out there, and Draymond was throwing passes, and I had to look at it because sometimes you could just be open and it's just the obvious choice of who should get the damn basketball. So they're like, oh, great assist. They're like, well, who the hell else was he going to pass it to? He's the only guy out there. But with that same breath, it's kind of like quarterbacks. Every quarterback in the NFL is a quarterback, but some of them don't know what to do on that next play. So I'll give Draymond a little credit over here, man. I'll concede. Well, the jury's still out. I don't think he's HOF and all that kind of stuff. He's probably HOG, the Hall of Good.
I'll give you that. I definitely don't think he's played his way into the Hall of Fame. Not at this point in his career, but I think that he definitely, is one of the more important players in the league, to the team, and especially just the dynamic of their team.
Yeah, no, I'll give that to him. Man, and talking about dynamic, and the thing that has not been dynamic down in Kentucky is those Kentucky Wildcats. Man, I, I'm not saying that the dynasty's done, but the last couple of years they have not looked like the teams that they've been having down in Kentucky. Man, they lost to Alabama last night. They've been getting spanked regularly. Could this be the last hurrah for the Kentucky Wildcats as they are?
Yeah, I don't know if it would be the last hurrah. I think that in the name itself, that they'll still, attract some pretty high rated recruits, and maybe begin to start to rebuild again. I just think that one of the problems Kentucky is having is similar to kind of what Syracuse had went through years ago. When you bring in these top rated players that are so good that they're one and done, it's hard to keep a program going when you've constantly got your best players in and out, going to the NBA. And that's not a knock on Kentucky in any way, because they're producing some pretty good players from out of there, but it just makes it harder to maintain it, because you have to constantly keep bringing in new recruits, new players at a faster level than other teams do.
No, no, and you know, and I'll, yeah, that is true. But man, that recipe works so long. Calipari, was the king of one and dones. He made Krzyzewski have to take a different look in the way he did it. And I guess to me, like the game has changed again, because we went from shooting the 3 pointers, and now I believe the big man is actually coming back. And coaches just really need to figure out how to change their game to fit to the players that are out here, because running backs and big fellas are back. People, I said it. I didn't say it first. I said it first, second, and third. So you best believe it, man.
Hey,
I
if we get the big fellas back in basketball, hey, you never know. Maybe we'll get some heavyweights back in boxing, and we can. Hey,
old days.
I'll let you start hitting quarterbacks again in football.
So now you just really crazy. That ain't never coming back. It's so funny. I watch football games, and I see plays where I go, man, 20 years ago, he would have got knocked the hell out. When you just see someone running toward the sideline, and it's like, yeah, it's a safe zone now. But, I talk to all the old school heads, Rick Upchurch. Rick Upchurch swears he's getting robbed because the way the game's called now. He said, man, if a defensive back wouldn't have been able to touch me, he's like, come on, man, I would have been killing DBs back in the day.
Yeah, those new rules is starting to get way too extreme, and I think that they need to revisit some of them and take a look, because a lot of things that are being called are clearly not penalties,
Yeah.
and it's in crucial points in games too. And
Yeah.
so I think back
Ooh,
to the games this past weekend, and
I
some
knew you were going there.
personal fouls that they call it was awful.
Yeah.
And there's no way for them to, at least in college football, they can at least go back and take a look at it, because you're calling some big penalties on teams in some key moments and key games. Like, this was the NFC and AFC championship game weekend, and you're influencing the way the game goes by some BS bogus penalty. That's not right.
Yeah, no. And you know what? I don't know if you saw this, and it's obviously a different sport. Draymond Green got kicked out of a game last week for a second technical because the ref teed him up because he thought he was yelling at the ref. And in fact, he was yelling at Wiseman to do something different. And he got kicked out. And then after the game, ref was going, oh, yeah, I probably shouldn't have kicked him out. Like, that doesn't help me. I'm out of the game.
I've always said this is the problem in sports when it comes to referees. Referees do not have to be held accountable publicly to anything that they do. There's no explanation. Everything. It's like when you see a player get in trouble with a team and they say, oh, we handled it in-house.
Yeah.
Well, what does that mean? Like, we need to see, like, obviously and especially with, how sports have become now, where you have, the betting going on to such a high level that it's going where people are placing money on these games, and these referees make these calls, but then they never have to explain, what they did, why they did it, apologize for it. Like, put them on a podium and make them have to do interviews, just like you make the players and the coaches have to do interviews, and make them have to answer some of the tough questions that everybody else goes through.
Yeah, no, that would probably be it. Because I was sitting here thinking that maybe they should get fined, but then that wouldn't work because they wouldn't be throwing the flag on anything. But no, I guess that would be the opposite though, because if there's a play they should have called, it's the same thing as calling a play they shouldn't have called. So yeah, maybe they should have fines. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, their thing, I believe, I know in the NFL, I think it is. I don't know about other sports, is that you get marked down. So whatever that is, but I guess that affects your ability to be able to referee in the playoffs, or the Super Bowl. So
right.
It's like, come on now. So what if a referee's got, if he's got marked down for the first half of the season enough, and he knows that he's not going to be reffing in the playoffs or the Super Bowl, then what motivation does he have to try to be the best referee on the field? If it doesn't come from within, there is none. Or if there is, we don't know about it, and that's why I would like to see it become more transparent with how referees are handled, and the basis behind their decisions, and just what they were thinking in those moments.
No, that is a good point. They need to be held to to a higher standard. And like you said, just holding your head at the end of the game is not helping my pocket out, especially when I was getting a $50,000, $100,000 bonus.
Yeah.
Oh, I would be so pissed. Oh my God. I just got mad. I don't even have any money in the game. Like, Lord, they just took $1 from me and I'm upset. So, the last one on basketball, man, I thought, as much as we're talking about Kentucky going out and not looking the same, I am so surprised that Gonzaga, Mark Few, dude, hats off to this man. He looks like Opie's big brother, but he was able to pull these teams together, and he gets players that no one's ever heard about and turns them into straight studs.
Yeah, I mean, just the school name Gonzaga, it doesn't even sound like it should be, a good school for anything.
Right, for anything. Medical school. I don't know.
He's, to me, he's kind of reminds me a little bit of a, Steve Kerr style coach, to where he just lays low under the radar, but he does his thing. Like you said, he brings in players that you've never heard about. You look at some of these players, they look like they should be somebody's uncle. they just look like they shouldn't be on the court. Like they wouldn't be athletic. But right. Man, they have some skilled players there, and he brings out the best. And they've been doing it for a long time now.
Long time.
It's not like, they just luck up here and there. Like, they've been competing at a high level for a long time.
They really have. And, he brought the one kid, the Asian kid, the first Asian player to be drafted in the NBA. He's playing for DC right now. And I was about to say something that was probably going to come off racist. I was going to try to say his name, but I'm not going to say that because we don't need to be sued. So, but yeah, that kid came out of nowhere and he's kicking ass, and so like you said, hats off to Mark Few. It's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out with March Madness, with them playing all the games in Indianapolis. It should be fun. It'll be like a big high school tournament. Everybody just flying in and playing at a different gym, have your backpacks on, have your gym shoes and your slides. Let's go do this.
Yeah, that should be fun. It'll be nice to, hopefully they could successfully accomplish that, because I know not having March Madness last year was brutal. And, with the NFL season ending here in a week and a half, we need something,
Yeah, we do.
Something to look forward to.
Right, because I think for everybody, Kobe's death was the precursor of how 21 or 20 was going. Then when March Madness kicked in, that kind of put the light on everything that, oh shit, this thing's a little bit more serious than we thought. But it sounds like they have a sound plan, and I'm looking forward to it. Man, we're going to take our break, and we come back. It's time for the Night Doctor. I don't know why I did this. I don't know why I think that's something to do with the Night Doctor, but it will be right back. It's the highlights. Cool. So how do you, yeah, no, that was good. And then after that, it will just be the videos and then your segment, and then we'll be good, man. We'll be good. Have you been back on your Twitter account yet? Are you using it again, or?
I really don't use it too much.
How do you want to get your questions, or to give you weekly? Do you want to do them from Facebook? Because we can do it either way.
Yeah, I could try to get back on Twitter and see if I could get some questions, from on there,